Hello guys, MonkeyBot here, and today we're going to be talking about the final Legendary Lord of the Shadows of Change DLC, the Kislev Legendary Lord, Mother Ostankya. So like the previous two videos with the previous Legendary Lords, I'll be discussing her gameplay mechanics, if I think they're good, how they will impact her gameplay. I'll then be talking about Kislev as a whole, and then finally I'll be going on to talk about her start position and how that will affect the Immortal Empires campaign going forward. But to start off, I want to talk about Mother Ostankya herself, because she is very unique. Like I really liked her design, to be honest. I know there's a lot of people disappointed that she doesn't have the lore of hags, but instead she has a mix between the lore of beasts and the lore of shadows, which is quite a unique lore. Like I always feel like the beasts and shadows are very sort of like passive magic. But I think that's good for her. I think she's a very supportive role. She's very good at buffing her army. She's very good at dealing a little bit of damage. She's a light artillery piece. She showers people in healing. Like, she does a lot for her team. She's very supportive, and I think she's very good at like buffing up and supporting her army. And I really like her design. One thing I will say, the fact that she's now on a chariot, I really wish that eventually they'll go back to Katarine and give her an ice war sled carried by the polar bears. I think that would be really good for Katarine. I know everyone's been asking for it, and hopefully she'll get that mount eventually. Going back to Mother Ostankya, we're going to start talking about her gameplay mechanics, and the first one I want to talk about is the Witch's Hut. And I really like this. People have said it's like a little bit like Grom's Cauldron, but I think it's much deeper than that. With Grom's Cauldron, it literally just affects his army and affects the entire army. But with these blessings and curses, like, I think they are one-time use consumables, and you can just keep on building more and more of these. I think there's a cooldown on how often you can build and use these curses. I'm not sure. I don't have early access. I'm not in the creative program, so I don't have all of that information yet for you guys, unfortunately. But the fact that you can consume these, and they are quite powerful by the looks of it, and then you can use them on your own comp, you can use them to counter the enemy comp, you can really have a wide selection of these blessings and curses and really change the gameplay for the battles, at least, around you. But that's it, really. They're just consumable banners. You just throw them on a single unit, and then they get buffed or nerfed. That's pretty much it. But I like it. I think it's quite cool. So moving on to the next campaign mechanic, we've got the Hexes. The Hexes seem a lot simpler than the Witch's Hut. They can kind of be compared to the Warriors of Chaos soul mechanics. So instead of souls, you have spirits. You gain spirits by doing battles. Getting rid of corruption, I think, is one of them. Looting, sacking, all the usual stuff. You get these spirits through pretty much everything in the game. Probably you can get them through your building chains as well. And then you spend these spirits on your Witch's Hut, as well as these Hexes. And the more you spend, the more you unlock, and then you'll eventually get stronger and stronger Hexes, which is cool. It means there's some sort of progression in the campaign. You can work towards stronger Hexes, but they'll probably be more expensive when you get there. But by the time you get there, you're going to have so many spirits anyway, it doesn't matter. It's cool. It's just a passive buff that you can click on as soon as you've unlocked it, as soon as you've got enough spirits, and it just gives you a buff for a few turns, and then there's a cooldown, and then you use it again. Very simple, very basic. Honestly, not much to say on it. We'll just move on to the next topic. But let's start talking about her start position, because this one really does confuse me. This one threw me off guard a little bit. So she starts in South Nagorond, and to be honest, I have no idea why. I don't see any relation between Kislev and Nagorond. We haven't been given any explanation. Maybe we'll get some information later on in a book or something, but to me, I've never known Kislev and the Dark Elves to have conflict with each other. But okay, so she starts in South Nagorond. I was expecting her to start in Prague. I think that would really help Katarine and Kastelta now, as they both struggle quite a bit right now. But yeah, that's not the case. So Kislev, as the country, is going to basically struggle the exact same way as they were before. They're probably going to get rolled over by the Warriors of Chaos and the demons and Norska and all the other rubbish they have to deal with. But Mother Ostankya is starting in Nagorond. So all this does for me, to be honest, is just make it... It's not actually about Nagorond, but to me it's more about Ulthuan. Ulth 1 is just fully secured by High Elves now. Like, there's no way that the High Elves are going to lose. The only threat, the deciding factor for Ulth 1 was Marathi. Kari was never taking much ground. You had Noctilus on the west, who kind of... He did a bit. But then other than that, like, Ulth 1 was kind of safe until Marathi made her way over there. But now Marathi has to go through Mother Ostankya. Ulth 1 is just safe. Ulth 1 is just secure. There's no problem with Ulth 1 whatsoever. And the rest of Nagorond is kind of just gonna fall now. I think the Dark Elves were already struggling up there. Like, they were getting attacked by the Warriors of Chaos from the north. You had the High Elves attacking them from the south. You had the Sisters of Twilight dealing a lot of damage, and you had God Brindle dealing a lot of damage. Adding Mother Ostankya into Nagorond, it just confirms to me that Nagorond is no longer a Dark Elf country, but it's just going to be an Order-Tide country. Pretty much every campaign now, the Dark Elves are just going to die. The Dark Elves have no hope. So that's going to wrap it up for the Shadows of Change news. We got 3 quite decent legendary lords. The Changeling is definitely going to be my first playthrough. I'm going to play that on the release day. I'm going to do a live stream of that if anyone wants to come by and watch. We've obviously got Mother Ostankya, who's decent. I would say she's probably like the middle ground. I think she's quite fun. I just don't really like her start position very much, but I'm sure she could be a fun campaign. And then we got the not FLC Lord Yuan Bo, who I think is definitely the loser out of the 3 legendary lords, at least in my opinion from what I've seen. But I think Immortal Empires is going to be in an interesting place now. I think it's going to be a really good patch. I hope that is going to stay that way. I do think we're going to be in an Order-Tide patch, especially in the New World. They're going to take over all of the New World. Ulth 1, Nagorond, Lustria, all controlled by the Order-Tide. And then they're going to move over to the Empire and take over there. So I do think it's going to be an Order-Tide patch. It really depends on the Changeling and how he screws over the Empire. If he can like buff up Chaos, it's really down to the Changeling really on how aggressive the AI Changeling faction is going to play out. And if it's going to buff up the Empire, destroy the Empire, buff up all the Chaos factions. I think the only threat to the Order-Tide right now is Chaos. Chaos and maybe Skaven, if they can ally together. So I guess we'll see what happens over the next few months. We're not going to hear anything now till probably December with Thrones of Decay. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good patch. So that concludes the video for today, guys. Thank you so very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, I'm going to be live streaming on the 31st with the Changeling if you're interested and you want to join in. Till then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.